We shall commence this module by studying about social and economic development. Social and economic development of the society is inseparable from political, cultural and legal environment in the country. It occupies an important place in the society, and the development of the society is not the development of only one aspect in the country, but it requires the whole lot of development in each and every aspect, whether infrastructure, income distribution, industrialization, etc. Thus, the ultimate goal of development is to enhance the quality of life of all people living in the society by providing good infrastructure facilities, removing regional inequalities, a fair and proper distribution of income and wealth. If all these facilities are given to people living in the society, the economy will grow at a faster pace and country like India will come under the cadre of developed economy. Thus, giving timely facilities to the citizens require proper fund management by the government. Proper fund management is possible only through proper monetary and fiscal policies for the country. If government is having sufficient funds for development, then it will raise the standard of living of the people living in the society. Thus, a proper formulation of stabilization policies by the government is very necessary, because the whole round development of the economy which rests on stabilization policy, because through these policies government used to generate more and more funds which is being spent on the welfare of the society. After studying this module, you shall be able to know about the infrastructure facilities, learn the concept of distributional inequality, identify the regional imbalances in the country, evaluate the effect of regional imbalance on stabilization policy, analyze the types of distributional inequality. We will now discuss the effect of infrastructural facilities on stabilization policy. The development of a country's infrastructure is vital for the growth in all sectors of the economy. Infrastructure refers to systems and facilities given to the people living in a country, area or city, and these facilities are necessary for the economy to function in a proper manner. According to Keynes, the word infrastructure was exclusively used to describe public assets that facilitate production, but not private assets of the same purpose. Thus, a sound infrastructure serves as the foundation and key in the socio-economic development of the economy. A good infrastructure base in the country can quicken the development of the economy at a faster rate, and a weak infrastructure can hamper the development of the economy. When infrastructure facilities are adequate in the country, then it also acts as a magnet for attracting additional investment in the country. Thus, availability of adequate infrastructure promotes industrialization in the economy and also improves the quality of life of the people living in the state. Infrastructure includes railways, roadways, ports, power, aviation and telecommunication, etc. All these services in the country ensure the progress and growth of the whole nation. Therefore, infrastructure is considered as an important driver in the development of economic and social prosperity in the economy. Strong infrastructure facilities form the backbone of a nation's economy. A sound infrastructure is also considered as the lifeline of the economy of the country. The World Development Report 2000 says that the adequacy of infrastructure helps in determining one country's success with the another, and also help in diversifying production, coping with population, reducing poverty and improve environmental conditions. Therefore, good infrastructure in the country raises the productivity and lowers down the production cost, which helps in increasing the standard of living of the people in the country. The government uses to spend a lot of money on infrastructure facilities and also launches various schemes for improving infrastructure facilities in the country. Recent schemes which were launched by Government of India for enhancing the infrastructure base in the country were: first, Heritage City Development and Augmentation Yojana. National Heritage City Development and Augmentation Yojana HRIDAY was launched by the Government of India on 21 January 2015. This scheme shall support the development of heritage infrastructure projects, which includes repairing of ghats, monuments and temples. These type of initiatives will include development of parks, road, public transport parking and sanitation facilities. This scheme requires a total outlay of 500 crores. Second, Smart City Program. The Government of India launched this program in 2015 to promote healthier, wealthier and happier cities for better life. The government has decided to develop 100 cities and it also covers remodeling of existing cities. Third, Swachh Bharat Mission. This Abhiyan is a national campaign which covers 4,041 towns in the country. The Abhiyan cleans the streets, roads and improves infrastructure facilities in the country. This scheme was launched on 2nd October 2014 for preserving and maintains cleanliness in the society. This mission requires a total of 1200 crores. Fourth, Sagar Mela project. This is an initiative taken by the Government of India to modernize ports so that development of ports on coastlines can contribute a lot in the growth and development of Indian economy. This scheme will transform the existing ports into modern world-class ports so that goods can be easily sent to the consumers. This project requires an outlay of 650 crores. Fifth, Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana. This program will link all rural habitations with a population above 1000 by 2016, and one more program launched under this scheme was the Pradhan Mantri Pradesh Sadak Yojana. This scheme will improve all the state highways and district roads in the country. This scheme will cover building world-class highways and linking roads with urban and rural areas. Sixth, Make in India scheme. This scheme launched by the government in 2015 for enhancement of competitiveness in the Indian capital goods sector. This scheme will require an outlay of 930 crores and it will boost the capital goods sector in India. This scheme will cover mainly the goods on machine tools, construction and mining machinery, textile machinery and process plant machinery. This scheme will create integrated industrial infrastructure facilities in the area of machine tools and will make the machine tool sector more competitive. Therefore, it is truly said that infrastructure is the base on which the economic activity of the whole country depends. The government now and then is launching new schemes for development of infrastructure and spending thousands of crores of rupees every year to create infrastructure facilities for the benefit of the society and the whole round development of the economy. Therefore, the government uses to arrange crores of funds for infrastructure facilities from monetary and fiscal policies framed by the government. The government used to levy various kinds of direct and indirect taxes on the consumers, and the government used to receive ample amount of revenue from these taxes. The revenue received by the government is being spent on the development of the economy in the form of infrastructure facilities. The fiscal policy measures such as taxation generates revenue to the government. The revenue generated by the government from fiscal policy is being spent on various infrastructure projects, and due to this, all sector gets a boost. Therefore, a sound stabilization policy is very necessary. Then only the government can arrange funds for the welfare of the economy. If stabilization policy is not effective, then the investment in infrastructure facilities will come to a standstill. Infrastructure in the country can be owned or managed by the government or by private companies. Government used to manage infrastructure through its tax and expenditure policy, and private companies manage infrastructure through various investments in capital market and arranging of loans from banks and financial institutions. Thus, it can be clearly understood that if stabilization policy is working properly, then the government will find convenient to arrange funds for infrastructure facilities and also try to maintain economic stability in the country. Let us now understand the effect of distributional inequality on stabilization policy. Distributional inequality is the difference which is being found among individuals, among population and among countries. Distributional inequality, also called as income inequality or wealth inequality. Distributional inequality is mostly found in income, wealth and consumption pattern of the society. Thus, distributional inequality can also be described as the gap between rich and poor in terms of wealth and income. During last decade, distributional inequality and stabilization policy has been a major topic of research by various economists because of various kinds of disparities in income distribution, individuals working for their own self-interest and assumption of perfect competition in the market. Stabilization policy governs through monetary and fiscal policy. Stabilization policy reflects the government role in achieving social preferences by different tax instruments available in the economy. Distribution of income in the society is also being influenced by the stabilization policy both directly and indirectly. Fiscal policy is the tax and expenditure policy of the government, and the taxes in fiscal policy are classified into two categories: direct taxes and indirect taxes. Direct taxes are those kinds of taxes which are directly paid to government in the form of personal or corporative income tax. Indirect tax is the tax which is being paid indirectly by the consumers, for example, VATs and taxes on commodities. Direct taxes have a great impact on the distribution of income among various sections of the society. This can be explained with the help of following example. If government start levying more and more taxes on the weaker sections of the society, then the weaker section will have to pay more, which will create economic inequality in the country. So the government, while framing the tax policy, used to levy more taxes on the rich class and give various tax concessions and subsidies to middle and lower class, so that there should be no disparity in income and wealth among various sections of the society. Indirect taxes also create an environment of inequality in the country. For example, the commodities which are luxurious in nature like gold and cars etc. should have more tax as compared to the commodities like soap and paste etc. which are being consumed by all sections of the society. If there is a difference between the tax rates of commodities, then it will create wealth inequality in the society. So while planning stabilization policy, inequality concept is taken into due consideration, and then the prices are being set for various kinds of commodities. Faulty taxation policy by the government creates distributional inequality in the country. Therefore, the tax reforms by the government should be such that it should give maximum revenue to the government, and that revenue should be used for removing inequality in the country. Formulation of a good budget for the poor by the government also removes inequality among various sections of the society. The budget formation is also being done according to the fiscal policy of the government. The government, through stabilization policy, aims to reduce inequality between big and small farmers by imposing ceilings on agricultural land holdings of rich farmers. These measures of stabilization policy in field of agriculture will remove inequality in the area of agriculture. Thus, it is truly said that stabilization policy plays a prominent role in removing inequality from the economy. We shall now understand the effect of regional imbalances on stabilization policy. Regional imbalance is a policy framed by the government which focuses on fixing development within the country. The purpose of the government to remove regional imbalance is to unite representatives of poor and rich regions and to use only those human resources who are living in a backward area and which is declining from the economic context also. If there is a coexistence between developed region and economically underdeveloped region, then it is termed as regional imbalance. Regional imbalance arises due to various reasons like unequal distribution of resources like wealth, income and human resources, etc. These have been the major cause during last years for regional imbalance. There is wide variety of factors which causes regional imbalance in the economy. These factors are: first, historical factors. This factor started in India during British regime, where Britishers focused their attention on prosperous manufacturing and trading activities for their own self-interest. The Britishers used to focus their attention only on two states, West Bengal and Maharashtra, and particularly three cities, Kolkata, Mumbai and Chennai. Thus, they neglected the rest of the regions in the country, which created regional imbalance in the economy. Second, geographical factors. Geographical factors also play a prominent role in the development of a particular region. The difficulty arises due to dense forest, hills and rivers, which increases the cost of any development project in these areas. Due to inaccessibility of resources, most of the regions in Uttar Pradesh, Himachal Pradesh and Jammu and Kashmir are still backward. Third, lack of economic overheads. Economic overheads comprise of transport and communication, technology, banking and insurance, etc. are considered essential for the development of any particular region. Some regions are developed due to adequacy of economic overheads like metro, but some regions remain backward due to inadequacy of economic overhead like northeast region and some parts of UP and Bihar. Fourth, failure of the planning mechanism. Some states got preferential treatment during the formulation of 5-year plans and some were neglected during the plan period, which created regional imbalance in the economy. Fifth, lack of growth of small-scale industries in backward states. Though government focuses their attention on major industrial projects of public enterprise in areas like Jamshedpur and Raulkela, but still they are lacking behind because of absence of small-scale and ancillary industries. Thus, these were the major factors which creates regional imbalance in the country, but factors like unemployment, inflation, political instability also creates regional imbalance in the economy. To remove regional disparities in the country, all rest on the proper stabilization policy of the government. Government needs fund for establishment of any industry or arranging of any overhead in a particular area, and government used to generate and plan about their funds from the tax and expenditure policy and monetary policy formulated for the country. Thus, the stabilization policy should be such that there should be equal distribution of financial resources to each and every state. So, there is development in each and every region in the country. The state and the central government also give tax concessions and interest-free loans for the development of a particular region, and giving interest-free loans depends on the monetary policy where interest rate structures are being decided. Banks also give financial assistance for the development of a particular region, and banks used to manage their financial resources through monetary and fiscal policy framed by the government. Progressive and capital gain tax in a particular will also help in removing regional disparity from the economy. Thus, it is truly said that regional imbalances are also taken into consideration while framing a stabilization policy for the country. Let us now summarize what we have learned so far. Social and economic development of the society is inseparable from political, cultural and legal environment in the country. It occupies an important place in the society, and the development of the society is not the development of only one sector in the economy, but it requires the whole lot of development in each and every sector, whether infrastructure, income distribution, industrialization, etc. The development of a country's infrastructure is vital for the growth in all sectors of the economy. Infrastructure refers to systems and facilities given to the people living in a country, area or city, and these facilities are necessary for the economy to function in a proper manner. Distributional inequality is the difference which is being found among individuals, among population and among countries. Distributional inequality, also called as income inequality or wealth inequality. Distributional inequality is found mostly in income, wealth and consumption pattern of the society. Regional imbalance is a policy framed by the government which focuses on fixing development within the country. The purpose of the government to remove regional imbalance is to unite representatives of poor and rich regions and to use only those human resources who are living in a backward area and which is declining from the economic context also. Thank you.